Good morning and welcome to the news on New Day. We come to you live from the John Hammond Street at Kanda here in Accra. My name is Judith Awoche Tando. In the headlines this morning. Fear grips at Duejiri residents and security beefed up after 2 people were killed and several others injured in a renewed chieftaincy dispute. Also this morning, police raid at Godegu near Hohoi left 3 people dead and injured several others after a patrol team allegedly collided with a motorbike rider on Wednesday. Also this morning, new Patriotic Party National Council members solely to vote in a runoff to break 5th position tie during Super Delegates Congress. Plus, Minority in Parliament says it is ready to meet in court after police and gangs September 5 Occupy Bank of Ghana protests. And on the international front, 8th coup in former French colonies in Africa in the past 3 years as Gabon leader is ousted by the army. Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. Well, in our first story, the Ghana Police Service says it has no option but to place a court injunction on the proposed Occupy Bank of Ghana protest attempt by the National Democratic Congress because it still considers it as a security installation due to the routes chosen. Now, the service secured the injunction from the High Court after it failed to reach an agreement with the NDC, but Deputy Minority Leader and Emmanuel Ba and Chief Whip Kwame Abuja insists the protest will come off on September 5 as planned and via the same routes.
We must say that we are very disappointed with this development, which is clearly an attempt to scuttle the protest, which is intended to hold the governor of the Bank of Ghana and his 2 deputies accountable for their mismanagement of the bank, which has resulted in an unprecedented and colossal loss of 60.8 billion Ghana cedi, an amount which has had serious consequences on the economy and pushed close to 1 million Ghanaians into poverty. As representatives of the people of Ghana, we will keep our sacred duty to uphold the public interest in line with our constitutional guaranteed right.
Absolutely no basis for the police to suggest that members of parliament were going to ransack the Bank of Ghana. The police can be assured that if they decide to withdraw their motion, we can sit down and conclude on that. But they cannot tell us that we should go and protest at Independence Square. What is the basis of that one? Our doors are still open, but as far as we are concerned, we have been stabbed in the back by the Greater Accra Regional Police.
Now we move to politics now, and only National Council members of the governing New Patriotic Party will vote in the party's September 2nd runoff between Boachie Ejiakor and Francis Adenimo to decide the fate of the 2 flag-bearer hopefuls. The decision was reached after a National Council meeting of the party. Noble Crosby Annan has been speaking with the General Secretary.
It's been a long day for the leadership of the NPP. The agenda simple. Find ways to break the tie between the 2 5th-place candidates in the Special Delegate Congress, Adenimo and Boachie Ejiakor, who both polled 9 votes. The party has made a decision, and it was arrived at after deliberations with the National Council of the party. The tie will be broken by only members of the National Council in an election on Saturday.
Yes, there will be a rerun, but the rerun, the delegates will not be the special delegates or the delegate that constituted the special delegate. But however, the National Council will break the tie. And the reason being that the constitution of our party under Article 10.3 gives the National Council the power to take decisions in the best and well-being of the party.
Also at this emergency meeting by the National Council, a decision taken by the election committee was annulled. This annulment makes it possible for government appointees to act as agents of the aspirants.
National Council also overruled the decision by the elections committee that government appointees, party officers, and MPs cannot be agents for aspirants. Going to the 4th November, any aspirant has the free will to choose any agent of his choice.
Noble Crosby Allen.
Dr. Kwesi Amache Boateng is a senior lecturer at the Department of History and Political Studies, Kwame, at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He's been speaking or reacting to the issues that have happened so far.
Laws are made for human beings, and I think time and context also determine what sort of law we want to make for ourselves. And political parties act in ways as to sustain the party interest, the party's supreme interest. At any material moment in time, the actions and inactions of political parties are guided by what they see and define as the party's general interest. I like to believe that this is what has guided the decision that has come out now. The issue as to fairness will have to be looked at differently. And as it is, you expect the party's members to be ready to play by the new rules. If you go into any elections, and elections are always guided by rules and regulations, it's almost always possible for some of the actors to, cry foul because of one or another regulation. But the fact of the matter is that the party needs to break this tie, and the individuals involved should have faith in the National Council and for that matter, the body that is now going to break the tie. We got to understand that interest is the key here. Individuals in political parties do that because of interest. Ordinarily, they are supposed to allow the party's interest to supersede that of their own.
Now, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the ruling NPP, Bernard Entry Bosiako, is confident that the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, will undoubtedly become the party's flag bearer following the November National Delegates Conference. Now, he emphasized that a decisive win in the Super Delegates Conference serves as a clear indication of an overwhelming endorsement of Dr. Bawumia's candidacy.
We have 926 votes. But if one candidate have 629 votes, it's more than enough. Even the one we are calling him second, Kennedy, we are calling him second, he got 132. 132. It's not close to him. And the third one, he got 95. It's not close. But because in the name of democracy and our constitution, that is why we are still going for this election. But if it is not in the name of democracy, this one is the done deal.
Now, still on the fallout of the MPP Super Delegates Congress, the Northeast Regional Chairman of the party, Hussaini Nuruddin, who was accused of supervising the assault of Alan Tremantin's agent in the Regional Voting Center, has dispelled the accusations.
What transpired in the hall was, when the voting started, we are only 28. One person voted, we voted up to 7. And let me state this categorically clear that Alan agent earlier on called our youth organizer that he was coming there to meet him. The youth organizer told him that if you want to meet me, we have already made our mind. And our mind is we are voting Bawumia, and everybody has agreed to vote for Bawumia. So if you come and you looks like I have taken something from you and I'm not voting you, no. He rather first earlier on want to attack the youth organizer at the process of voting. Because if somebody wants to attack me first, he has to prevent, and when he prevents, he pushes the agent and then he uses his face to hit a wall. And that was the incident that happened. And quickly, when I saw things like that, people were rushing. I protected him and took him to hospital. I was not part of the election committee. I was only a voter. So how can I be sanctioned?
Were Kennedy Japan's agents chased?
Nobody chased Kennedy Japan agent. After the election, he said he has to talk to his boss before he signed. And I asked him, what is the reason? Finally, he came and said his boss said he shouldn't sign. I said, based on what? Because he earlier on commented that his agent was chased out of the hall when his agent was not chased out of the hall.
Now to some more stories. President Akufo-Addo has commissioned the Electrochem salt mine and processing plant located in Adasege in the Greater Accra region. The project, which was launched in November 2020, is set to produce 2 million metric tons of salt by 2027. Here's a report. It is the largest salt mine and processing plant in all of Africa, with a capacity to produce about 1 million metric tons of salt per year. What's more, this salt can supply both local and export markets, which of course is certainly a win for Ghana. And just maybe, if all things work as expected, Ghana may become the leading producer of salt in Africa.
When we came here, the price of salt was too low. And I said, no, we need to do something for salt prices to go out there, go on the street and talk to the ladies. They're enjoying the investment.
Salt mining within the Adasongo area was poorly developed and yielded less than expected. Electrochem Salt Mining Company was granted a 15-year lease to explore the area's salt resources, but has faced opposition since its inception.
This project had been here for over 54 years. Nobody had been able to develop it. When you come here, you face a lot of opposition, you face a lot of challenges, brutality, media war, empathy, sympathy. But people outside here really don't know what is here.
The salt mine employs over 10,000 workers across 41,000 acres, impacting community, with some residents praising the project.
They were using only 4 pounds for salt winning. It means that 20 was lying down without being used. But with their investment and all these rock boulders they are bringing in, a lot is going to happen.
I mean, I said, first, 200,000, 20 cedis.
Now we sell a sack of salt for 400 cedis. At first, it was just 20 cedis. It's now profitable. President Akufo-Addo indicated that the project will engender development for the locals.
Think with me for a moment about the prospects of Ghana selling $2 billion worth of salt to Nigeria annually, and the ripple effects the sale of such a simple commodity, which Nigeria and indeed many other countries in West Africa import from other continents, can have on our economy. With its current ability to produce some 650,000 metric tons of salt per annum, and expanding its productive capacity to 1 million metric tons in 2024 and to 2 million metric tons by 2027.
Chidethawo Chitando, TV3 News, Adasongo. On to some security-related stories now. Contrary to the police's account of Wednesday's violence in the Godegu community near the Hohoi, the residents have expressed skepticism. They argue that the police vehicle caught fire because the patrol team collided with a motorbike riding resident, not due to any form of retaliatory action. Additionally, the residents have contested the reports of the 2 police officers losing their lives during the confrontations with community members.
The Godenu community revealed a scene marked by the aftermath of a police raid that occurred following an alleged accident involving a motorbike rider. The impact of the police's presence was evident everywhere, even though their account of the incident did not mention these details. According to the residents, the police entered the community after their accident with the motorbike rider had already taken place outside the area. The police allegedly fired at the residents, resulting in the death of 3 individuals and leaving several others injured. Numerous motorbikes were reportedly set on fire and a significant amount of property damaged, including the destruction of vehicles, household appliances, shops, and even the chief's residence.
Togbe is aware, just that Togbe is not in town. And 2 of his vehicles were also smashed, which is also very unfortunate because if anything at all, the police come to town. It's Togbe who will host them. And I understand when they were even smashing the windscreen of the vehicle, someone tried to inform them that is Togbe's vehicle, but they say they don't care.
In an account given in the Ewe language, the wife of the chief of Bigodo, Doris Kojobra, recounted that she took cover in her home upon hearing the gunshots while the chaos continued. Another victim, a taxi driver, had his vehicle destroyed while he was visiting a friend from another community.
They have some celebration where they invited us. We came yesterday, where today to came before we did inside and hear something they happened outside.
This situation has sparked fear and tension within the community, with some of the youth expressing a desire to arm themselves against potential future instances of police brutality.
To one of our headline stories now, and fear has gripped residents of Adwejiri near the Nsawam in the eastern region after 2 people were killed and several others injured in a renewed chieftaincy dispute. Security has also been beefed up in the town to avert further clashes. Godwin Asidiba reports.
It's day 1 after an alleged gun attack related to an ongoing chieftaincy dispute resulted in fatalities at Adwejiri near Nsawam in the eastern region. 41-year-old Evans Efum, who suffered gunshot wounds during the clash, is currently receiving medical treatment at the Nsawam Government Hospital, where doctors are hoping to remove bullets from his body.
I was going somewhere before the clash started. Suddenly, I realized I had been shot.
In the Adwejiri township, the tension is still felt. Bullet holes now mar the facades of shops, serving as visible reminders of the clash that rocked the community. Residents can't stop wailing. They have lost their loved ones. I am currently standing at Okwanajo Palace, where most of the victims ran toward to seek help. 5 are in a critical condition at the moment, and 2 unfortunately died. This is the blood stains of a human being who was shot yesterday.
We've made a report to the police, and we are yet to see what they can do.
Kwame Apitu is one of the victims who were shot and killed in yesterday's clash. This is his wife here, who has been crying uncontrollably. She has been sharing with us her last experience with her beloved husband.
I told him I was going to prepare his favorite meal when I returned from church. Upon returning, I was told he was dead.
The police have been strategically stationed at key locations to closely monitor the situation and prevent any further unrest. The incident unfolded when the convoy of the recently installed chief by Achim Ebuaka Traditional Council to the township. The new chief was installed last week and is still undergoing some customary rites in Chebi. The Nsawam Adwejiri Municipal Chief Executive, Isaac Kwadjo, recalls a similar incident claiming 1 life 3 months ago.
I will report to the regional minister so that this matter will be finalized or normalized.
Godwin Asidiba, TV3, Adwejiri, Eastern Region.
Now, in international news, Gabon is the latest country in Africa to be hit by the wave of coups. The military has seized power and placed the deposed president under house arrest. The country held elections last week, but the junta has announced the results, which handed deposed President Ali Bongo a fresh 7-year mandate. Duke Mentopoku has more.
Significant for a number of reasons. Number one is the fact that Gabon has been ruled by one family for 56 years. So more than 5 decades, one family has made it their business to run Gabon. It started in 1967 when Omar Bongo took over the reins of power after the then president Leon Mba died. He was in that government. He ran that country from 1967 till he passed on in 2009. And then his first son, Ali Bongo Ondimba, who was the deposed president, took over the reins of power. He's actually contested and won elections, that is 2 terms of 7 years each, and he was going to serve his 3rd term of 7 years, which would have made it to him, serve 21 years in power. He has been seen in the last few hours in a viral video lamenting the kind of treatment he's been given by the military junta.
I'm Ali Bongo
Ondimba, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, For the people here have arrested me.
He still refers to himself as the president of Gabon, lamenting the kind of treatment he's been given. He says he's been separated from the wife and his kids. The international community is watching keenly and in what is the latest in the wave of what has been referred to as the French Spring in Africa.
And that's all for the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Awoche Tando, but of course, Roland Bella and Nashoko are with me in the studio for the rest of New Day. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, and you?
Oh, well.
Amazing. I saw some photos.
Yeah. Some shining photos.
Hey, yeah. Really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You posted the photos on your Instagram. Only Instagram?
Mischief.
On Facebook.
Okay, so they're linked, so once I post
the photo is trending actually. It's
across, very beautiful.
Across all platforms.
Lovely. Hey!
Are we entitled to show it on TV?
Please don't.
Oh, why?
But it's already public.
Celebrate I mean, if it was a BBC award, you say let's show it. Why don't you want us to show this other award too?
The one knows already.
Who is more mischievous?
Oh, no. Roland is more mischievous. Now it's in between. Congrats, Roland.
Thank you.
Roland take the cake when he does. He does it with a straight face too.
Yeah. So that's Judith. That's the sound behind the photo. Well, thank you very much, Judith.
Sure.
Yeah.